This conference will now be
Now let
recorded.
us see how to apply background image for the element. We can apply the background image for the element by using background-image property. We have to give background-image colon, we have to give URL. In the URL, inside the brackets and inside the double quotes, we have to specify the file name with extension, either .jpg or png or any other. And it is recommended to copy paste the image file into current working folder, that is C:*CSS folder. In which folder we are going to place your CSS programs. Into that folder we have to copy paste the image. So the background image can be displayed like this. For the element, for your paragraph, or for your table, for anything we can apply the background image. Okay, let's see this. Topic name background image. We are going to create background-image.html in the current working folder, that is C:*CSS. First, let us apply the background image for the entire web page. First, copy the image. We have a file called sample.jpg. Copy this sample.jpg file and paste it in the C:*CSS folder. You can use any other image, whatever you like. How to apply that image here? I want to apply the background image for the entire web page. Entire web page is called as the body tag. So to apply the background image for the entire web page, we have to apply style body. Body means entire web page. So background, first I'm giving background color. If you type FFFF 6 times, now we can see a white color by default, and if we place the mouse pointer on that, color box will be visible. See, if we just place the mouse pointer on that, color box visible. There we can choose any color. First background color is applied, and then we are applying background-image URL sample.png. This file and extension we have to specify there. Now you can see the background image appear. And you can notice one thing, the background image is being repeated. By default, the background image will repeat. In case if we don't want to repeat the particular image, then what we'll do, we have to use background repeat property to avoid the repetition. Background repeat, default option is repeat, which means that the background image will repeat. Second option is no repeat, which means the background image will not be repeated but appears only one time on the top left. Next option, repeat X, which means horizontally only will be repeated. Only horizontally repeating. Repeat Y means only vertically repeating. And in case of no repeat, background-position property, we can specify the position of the background image, that is in the top left corner or top right corner, any corners we can specify. For example, top left means top left, top center, so we can see top center. For the entire web page, it is top center. Same like this, top right. Now you can see the top right, center left, no, center left. First we have to say left, then center. No, center left correct actually. 1 minute. Okay, let's apply the background image for the a paragraph so that you can understand. So there is a paragraph ID equal to P1. Some content is there. For this para 1, I'm going to apply the font size. Also the background color. And I'm going to apply the background image for the paragraph. Okay, now we can notice it's working perfectly. So you can see we have just mentioned center left, which means that it is within the paragraph, it is center and left. It is center left within the paragraph. Same like this, we can also say center, 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 center. I mean horizontally center plus vertically center. Center right, center right. Same like this, bottom left. So most bottom in the left corner, vertically bottom, horizontally left, bottom center, and bottom right. That's all. So background color means we can specify the hexadecimal number of the background color. Background image means URL. We can specify the file name and extension. Background repeat means 4 options: repeat, no repeat, repeat X, repeat Y. Background position means 9 options totally: top left, top center, top right, center left, center center, center right, bottom left, bottom center, bottom right. 9 options. Okay, next one, background position, no, background attachment. Background attachment means we can specify whether the background image should be scrolled along with the text or not. When you scroll the background image up and down, when you scroll the web page up and down, the background image should be scrolled or not. We can specify by using background attachment. If the option is a scroll, the background image will be scrolled along with the web page. Fixed means background image will be stable as it is, only text will be moved on the top of that. Default value is a scroll, means if you don't specify anything, by default scroll. So with example you will understand this more clearly. Just it's a simple topic, don't confuse. I will show example. Background attachment. Right. So this time, if you apply the font size for the body for all the paragraphs, in fact for entire web page, the font size will be set at a time. So I'm just creating multiple paragraphs, many paragraphs like this. P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. 5 paragraphs we have created. So that's why we can see 5 paragraphs. So since the content is huge content, the automatic scroll bar is coming, you can notice. And now we are trying to apply the background image for the body tag. For example, we have another image called trees.jpg we have. I just copy paste this file in the current working folder. So now trees.jpg is a file. Don't forget to mention the file extension, it is must. Now we can see the background image. Notice one interesting behavior. When you scroll the page up and down, carefully observe the background image also moving along with the text. Text and the background image both are moving simultaneously. Okay, you can see that feature. Now, if you are giving background attachment, default option is a scroll. Scroll means already we have seen the background image will automatically move along with the text. But the second option is fixed. So this will output something different. So we have given fixed. Notice fixed. Fixed means, see, only text is moving on the top of the background image. Background image stable as it is. Background image stable as it is. Only text is moving when you scroll the page up and down. So text means so the content. So the content moves, background image will not move. Background image displayed fixedly. That is the meaning of fixed. Okay, next. Next one, list style type for UL tag. Means for the UL tag, we can specify the bullet type by using list style type. We have disk, square, circle, and none. 4 options available. Any of these options can be specified. Default is disk. Disk means the UL will be look like this, just bullets. Square means the square shape like this. Circle means circle shape. None means no item. I mean no bullet. 4 options only available. Okay, let's check it. List style type for UL. List style type for UL tag. Okay, we are going to prepare some UL. Suppose list of suppose item 1, 2, 3 like this. Some items we can assume the city names or country names, anything like that. Now the default bullet type is disk. If you don't specify anything also, by default disk. If you apply manually also, it is disk. For example, type equal to id equal to list1. For the list1, list style type disk. Disk is the default. It has no difference. Second option, square. For the list 2, we are trying to mention square. Now we can see square. Second one, square. Third one, circles. Last and final, none. List 4 is none. Like this. We can specify the type of the bullet by using list style type for UL tag. Next, list style type for OL, ordered list. In ordered list, we can specify the type of the numbering by using OL tag. We can specify the numbering type by using OL tag. See, decimal means we can see 1, 2, 3 serial number. Lower alpha means we can say lowercase alphabets. Upper alpha means uppercase alphabets. Lower Roman means Roman numbers. So upper Roman also available. So these are all the several options available. All these are applicable for OL tag only. List style type for OL tag. Ordered list. We have an option. We have an option like decimal leading 0, lower alpha, upper alpha, lower Roman, upper Roman, none. Okay, these are the 8 items I just created. Now we can see all these items. Now, instead of UL, we have to use OL tag. Now for the list one, list style type is decimal. Decimal is the default option. So that's why there is no difference. For the list two, decimal leading 0. So you can see non-standard number, that is 0, 1, 0, 2, like that. This list 3, lower alpha. So we can see lowercase alphabets. List 4, upper alpha. So you can see uppercase alphabets. Next we can see lowercase Roman numbers. Okay, in this case you can see lowercase Roman numbers, uppercase Roman numbers, last and final none. None means no numbering. Okay, these are the different types of numbering. Okay, is it clear? Check it. Okay, next one, list style image. The list style image property specifies a small image can be displayed as a bullet image. A small image. What image? It's up to you. Maybe star image, hand symbol. You're expecting different symbols, right? So any symbol can be displayed as a bullet image by using list style image property. List style image property for UL tag. First, how to download the image I will show. Go to iconfinder.com website. Once you go to iconfinder.com, there you can search for any image. For example, star image, otherwise hand symbol, anything can be displayed. Suppose you would like to show some hand symbol. For example, I want this image, and once we click on this, here we have to change the size actually. It offers different size. Okay, so 16 into 16 is required for the icon. 512 into 512 is very large size. Go to 16 into 16. It's very small image, you can notice. So 16 into 16, then download PNG. So just give it a user defined name, for example, hand. Now we have downloaded it into downloads location. Copy this particular file, paste into current working location, that is C:/CSS location. Then how to show this image? I think it's too small. I think just a minute. Let me try 20 into 20. 20 into 20, we are just trying. Okay, this is the actual size. If we maximize, it will look like this. Okay, now how to set it here? List style image.html. Suppose you have a UL, unordered list. For this, you want to set that hand symbol. So list style image URL, we have to give that file name. Suppose hand.png. What is the file name we have? That one. Now we can see that image is appear here. That's all over. Simple. So you can download any image and you can set it. Okay, from which website we have to download? iconfinder.com. Search for any icon and you can just download it. 16 also okay, or 20 maximum. And of course, depends on the font size also. If you increase the font size, you may require 24 by 24 also, maybe. Okay, next one. Div tag. One of the most important topics of the CSS is div tag. Actually, for our codes, the entire what you can say, the main life, main heart of the codes is nothing but div tag. Actually, div tag belongs to HTML, but it is correct to explain about the div tag in CSS. That's why we are going to take the div tag in CSS. Well, what is div tag exactly? The div is just a partition of the web page, a small box. See, there is one box, there is one more box, there is one more box. A small box is nothing but div tag. Div means division of the page. It's a container. Inside the div, we can place any other content like text, any other tags like heading tags, text formatting tags, tables, forms, anything, any other tags you can place inside a div. And div is a block level element. That means the complete row will be occupied by default. Assume this is the web page. In this web page, if you place a div, complete row, complete width is occupied, 100% of the width. Full width is occupied. Height depends on content. If we add the more content, height will be increased. So the height depends on the content, but width will be 100% by default. Of course, you can change the width manually, but by default nature I am trying to say. And within one web page, you can create any number of divs. Every div is representing a meaningful section or meaningful box of the web page. The div box border may be visible or may not be visible. It's up to you. Depends on your CSS style. And one div may contain other divs. In outer box, we have a small box. I'll show one meaningful example for this. For example, you can say, suppose Facebook example we'll take. In the Facebook, you can say this is completely a div. Total web page itself is a div. And inside that, this blue color header box is nothing but one div. This part is one div. And this is another div. This is another div. And this footer information is other div. So the web page is full of divs. And not only that, inside that we can have any other divs. See, outer level itself is div, right? Inside that we have about 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 divs we have. And inside this div also, again, small divs can be placed. For example, this is a div. This is a div. This is the div. So to arrange the neat look and feel for the web page, the div is important. The biggest secret of the web page designing is div. If you understand div properly, you can just play with the designing. But it's not that much simple to do that practically. So by seeing many examples only, we'll have some grasp, what you can say, grip about the div tags. By example, you can have more confidence on the div tag. So till end of the course, in most of the examples, almost everywhere we are going to use div tag from now onwards. Okay, let's say start the first initial examples on the div tags. Okay, first example on div tag. Just a div hello, that's all. Over. Simple. It's very simple. Just we have placed a hello message inside the div, which means that it can be anything. The default nature is it's not only occupy this much space, but also it occupy the complete width, complete full web page width is occupied. Height depends on the content. How much content is there, that much height it will just occupy. Width is by default 100%. That is the default nature of the block level element. Heading tags, paragraph tags, div tag, all these are block level elements which occupy the complete width by default. As it is occupying the complete width, there is no more space for displaying other text right side. See, right side there is no more space to display any more information. That is the reason if you just add something like hi or something, this extra text which is outside the div will be displayed here, below, because this is a div. There is no more any space right side to display any other text. Compulsory the next information will go to next line. And we can create multiple divs. Suppose hello, hello, hello. Multiple divs we have created. So all the divs appear by default line by line. For easy understanding purpose, the boundary of the div. So just I am applying some ID, for example, div1. Always ID means identification name. These IDs will not be displayed anywhere on the screen, but using which you can access them. I'm just applying background color. Okay, we have given different colors for each div. Now we can see different colors. Okay, let's increase the font size. See, if you are giving div, this style is applied for all the divs, notice, because div is a tag selector. It is selecting all instances of the div tag. Hash div1 means only for the single div1. Div means all the divs. See, for all the divs at a time, I am setting the font size 30 pixels. Okay, at a time increased. Now you can see 4 boxes. So this is the simplest example on the div tag. Actually, for the entire body, some minimum padding is maintained. That's why you can see little bit margin for the entire content. See left side, most right side, you can notice just little bit, few pixels, maybe 3-4 pixels margin is maintained. So inside that 100% width is occupied by the particular div. Next, how to set width and height. Not only for div but also for any other HTML tag, we can set width and height. Width means horizontal size of the element. Height means vertical size of the element. For example, for this element, this length is nothing but width, and this is height. width and height can be specified by using width and height properties. Not only for div but also for any other HTML tags. Let me show a separate example. Because each example looks different. Now we are demonstrating width and height. Suppose we are going to give width some 300 pixels, for example. We can give any number of pixels. Okay, then you can see the width 300 pixels. Horizontal size. Default height is auto, which means automatically as per the content, the height can be increased. If you add more content, more height will come. That's auto by default. And you can specifically specify, for example, I want some 300 or 200 pixels. Any number you can specify, it's up to you. Let's add width and height. For all the divs, we have given width and height. So now it is look like this. But actually, there is a space to display the next div here, right? I mean, this div can go here, right? But it's not going. The reason, the default, by default, blurred nature of the div is always it is block level element. It doesn't matter whether the space available or not, just always line by line by default. Okay, every div is by default line by line. But in case if you want to display side by side, we have to use float left option. By using float left, we can arrange the div side by side. Let me show the example of float left. Now we can see div 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to display them side by side. Remember, whenever you want to apply some div tags side by side, for those div tags only we have to give float left. What div tags you want to see side by side, for those div tags only we have to add float left. I would like to see div 1, 2, 3, 4 all side by side. So for all the div tags we have to give float left. Now what happens? All the div tags side by side. Suppose you don't want to see the div 4 side by side. Just what will you do? Just here. You will not give float left for the div 4. But notice the problem. The div 4 is not displaying correctly. I mean, it's a background color. This background color of div 4 going backside of div 1. That's why the background color of div 4 not visible. So you're getting unexpected wrong output. That's why whenever you want to go to next line, for that particular going to next line, we have to give clear left. Remember, whenever few div tags are float left, whenever you want to go to next line, for that particular div tag where you want to go to next line, we have to add clear left. Simple. Div 1, 2, 3, 4 side by side. So for all these div 1, 2, 3, 4 float left. Div 5 should go to next line. So for div 5 we have to go clear left. Side by side means float left. You want to go to next line means clear left. But don't forget clear left. If you don't give clear left, you're getting some unexpected results. That is for sure. So we are using float left means whenever you want to go to next line, for that element we must give clear left. So as we have given clear left, now we can see correct output. So we have pushed the div 4 to go to next line. To go to next line, we have used clear left. This is all about float left and respect to clear left. But there is one more option. It is mostly not used in real time. Just there is one more option for us, float right. Float right also available. It is rare to use this. Float right means See, as of now it is just float left only, but we are giving float right instead of float left. See, for div 4 what happened? It is just most right side. And then div 2 again beside that. The direction change you could notice this direction. Float left is this direction from left to right. Float right is right to left. Direction opposite. Okay, div 3 float right, and then we have to use clear right. We have used a float right means opposite clear right to cancel the effect. In other words, like whenever you are using float right or float left, compulsory we have to go clear left to go to next line to cancel the effect of the float. Internally, when you are giving float left or float right, it will form one sequence. It will keep the div tag side by side. To cancel, to break the sequence, to push the content to next line, we have to go clear. In case of float left, we have to use clear left. In case of float right, we have to use clear right. Okay, that's all. Next, now we are going to see box model.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, now let us continue. So the topic is box model. Every element is displayed based on the box model. Box model is a model based on which any element will be displayed in the web page. Any element means any HTML tag, for example, heading tag, paragraph tag, B tag, I tag, A tag, U tag, any HTML tag, including table, form, input, select everything, any HTML tag, any visible element can be displayed based on box model only. That is margin border padding. Box model is equal to margin border padding. First, you will take your actual content. This dashed arrow mark. I mean, this box is representing some actual content. Maybe some text, for example. And this is the border. Green color box is border. In between the border and the content, some gap can be maintained. That is padding. Padding is a gap between border and content. And you can see this is border top, this is border right, this is border bottom, and this is border left. Same way, padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left. Next, same way, outside the border, some gap can be maintained, outer level. That is margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left. Imagine the same thing just beside. So that means same box model assume will be repeated for next box. For example, you can talk about two paragraphs or two div tags. For the first div tag or second div tag, same model repeats. So here also margin border padding content will be there. Even if you have one more in the left side also, for that also same thing will be repeated. So for any element, not only for a div, for any HTML element, the margin border padding is common and compulsory. Only the thing is, by default, margin may be 0 pixels, border is 0 pixels, padding may be 0 pixels by default. We can increase or decrease the padding or margin or border. So let's see this. So coming to the example, So do you have any gap between the div tag? In between one div to another div, no gap. No gap is there. So we are just adding margin, some 10 pixels for example. Now what exactly happens for the div surrounding the div, all the four sides, the margin is maintained automatically. Means top margin, margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left. All the four sides of a div, the margin is maintained. And also we can specify the margin for a particular side also. For example, margin right, margin top, 40 pixels. Now we can notice on the top margin it will take 40 pixels instead of 10. It's not like 10 plus 40, it is just 40. Only on the top side 40 pixels, remaining sides 10 pixels. Right margin is 10, bottom margin is 10, left margin is 10. Only at the top side 40 pixels. I mean to say this gap. For the body, some gap is maintained, so don't consider that. Okay, just this area. This area is nothing but margin top. So only for particular side. For example, margin bottom you can specify. Margin bottom. Now we can see bottom level margin. Margin right you can specify. Now we can see right side margin. Margin left you can specify. So left side margin. So margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left, anything can be specified. Next. You can also specify all in one in a shortcut way. That is also called a shorthand notation. Shorthand notation means just first we will go top margin space, right margin space, bottom margin space, left margin. So now we can see for the div 2 the margins are set. So the order is top margin, right margin, bottom margin, left margin. The order is clockwise. In this direction you have to come. Clockwise you have to come. Starting from the top. Okay, margin top, margin right, margin bottom, margin left, we have to specify in the order. Space separated values. This is all about the margin. Either margin just a single number or margin left, margin top, margin right, margin bottom, or shorthand notation. Three options in the margin. Next, border also can be specified. Suppose border width 5 pixels, border style is solid. So now we can see for the div tag the border is applied. Border 5 pixel thickness, minimum 1 pixel thickness. You can see very thin border you can notice. So it's up to you how much you will give. Suppose if you give 50 pixels, it is look like this. Okay, it's up to you. Here solid is the name of the type of the border. We can give other options like a dotted. You can see dotted border, dashed border. Like this, several options available. Next, and also border color. You can see border color red. So solid, dashed, groove, inset, outset, different styles of border available. You can see them in the material which I have shared to you already. But solid is the best always. And we can specify these three in a single line, in a single word. So just we will go border. First border width we will specify, then border style, then border color. The order must be like this only. First border width, space, border style, space, border color. Now you can see like this: border width, border style, border color. That's all. So instead of writing 3 lines, if you want to specify all at a time, you follow like this. But sometimes what happens, you don't want to set border width, border color, only border style. At the time, this will be individually useful. So what I mean to say, sometimes you want to go with individual, sometimes you want to go with shortcut. So all you should know and all you should practice. And for a particular side also you can specify the border. For example, for here, if you go border top, now you can see only top side border you can see. Okay, border top means only top side border. Border bottom, only bottom side border. Border left, left side border. Border right, right side border. Okay, like this we can give any particular side independently. Independently we can specify, or just commonly for all the sides we can specify at a time, or we can also specify separate properties. So these are the several options on the border. Now coming to padding, suppose we are going to take another div, that is div number 5, which may include a lot of text. And for this div 5, background color, also I'm just applying border. Instead of color name, always you can specify the color code. Color code only the best in real time. Okay. Okay, now notice carefully, just there is no gap between the border and content surrounding all the 4 sides. There is no gap between the border and content, you can notice here. There is no gap between the border and content. Just if you're adding padding, for example 20 pixels, notice the div 5 carefully. What happened now? Gap is maintained or not? See, this is a gap. Padding top, padding right, padding bottom, padding left. All the 4 sides equally, the gap is maintained. So gap between the border and content is padding. The gap between element to element can be decided by using margin. This may be right margin for the div 1, this may be left margin for the div 2. Gap between elements is margin. Gap between border and content is padding. In other words, inner margin is padding, outer margin is margin. Inner, inside the border, some gap is maintained, that is padding. Outside the border, some gap is maintained, that is margin. So, okay, that's all about box model. Any doubts in this box model?